Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So, as you can see here, it's just I pan down a bit. You can see my MSI claw next to my switches, connected to my 55-inch 4K TV. So I'm just going to hook this up like a console slash desktop. As you can see, I'm already on my desktop mode. And yeah, let's see how it is. Play some games. Let me just adjust this. You can see the desktop, pretty standard. Does everything you need. Pretty good. So I just wanted to check it on a TV. A lot of my friends have been asking me why didn't I go like get like a Legion Go OS or a Steam and use a Steam OS, because it's more closer to a console. It's much more, gives you a bit more performance. But I did say that I would love to, but I have nearly 3 years of Game Pass and a lot of free games, so that's why I'm using Windows. I know Windows has a lot of bloatware running in the background and probably slow the game. If I was getting say 50 frames or something, 50 frames per second on say Gears of War, the new one I just downloaded yesterday on Steam OS, probably about an extra 10 frames. But like I said, I just want the versatility because I got nearly 3 years of Game Pass. That's the reason why. So I'm going to boot up Gears Wars Reloaded. It's actually one of my favorite Xbox games, 360. The first trilogy was amazing, probably the best trilogy in Xbox in my opinion. 4 and 5 was okay, I suppose. I'm hoping the new one, was it E-Day or something like that, next year. Hopefully they go back to the good old days. You know, Marcus Phoenix was the man in my opinion. So I'll pause this, let it boot up, and then I go into gameplay. Be back in a minute. Okay, before I start, I kind of forgot to. I should have unboxed it, but I already unboxed it. I got a dock. You can see his dock in there. What I'll do, I'll leave my dock on the description below. I got it from Amazon. I've paid about £28. It was on sale. So I'm using Xbox Series X controller. I've already played the first bit just to kind of get into it instead of waiting around and do all the preloaded scenes.
Enemy reinforcements! Take cover!
Okay, so I'm looking at my video footage. It looks a lot bluer than I expected. It's actually a lot more grayer. I'm not using any video capture like OBS or anything like that. This is just straight from my camera phone. And the top corner, top right, at the moment is running 40,
Okay, man, here we go.
50,
Still got it?
60 frames per second. So it's averaging at the moment around 50 to 60 frames. I put a lot of settings on low, so let me just pause it, go into settings, and here's the settings are done. A lot of on medium, like shadow medium is I put on performance mode, so a lot of things I put on medium just to get somewhere between 50 to 60 frames per second. Oh, I need to get used to the controller again. Oh. I was too busy talking and looking at my video footage, filming. Plus, it's been a long time since I played a Gears game. I need to get used to the controller again. I remember playing this on the 360. It really was such a man's game, you know. You just wanted to, it kind of reminded me of watching like the 80s, you know, the 80s action movies, you know. When you wanted to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, watching Predator, Commando, those kind of films. It reminded me of those days. I suppose that's the wrong thing nowadays. A lot of the society telling you can't do that, you know, can't be too masculine. So that's why I'm hoping the new E-Day goes back to its glory. I mean, 4 or 5 was okay, but I didn't like the direction it was going to. You know, what's her name was kind of taking the lead. Really annoyed me, and Marcus become like a side character. That annoyed me. Even his son was a bit of a pansy. What's his son's name? I can't remember, but his son's name was annoying as well. You know, I just felt like they backhanded all the old classic characters like Marcus, Dom, and all those guys. That's what made the game famous. And I hope they go back to that full-on, you know, macho, testosterone-driven game. And this is Xbox we're talking about, and Microsoft Studios. I mean, they're all about the woke crap. So, and they've been losing money, of course. I mean, studios closing, people getting fired or making redundant. I mean, usually I can say companies, money talks, you know, and hopefully to start thinking about Microsoft, one of the richest companies in the world, $4 trillion worth. You know, I'm scared that they probably still carry on with their kind of woke nonsense. I'm not sure they go back to that, what the original game was, just a good old-fashioned big men killing big monsters, you know. I hope they go back to that. We'll just see when it releases. Anyway, that is the Gears. I'm averaging mid-40s to sometimes 60. Not much of a slowdown, doesn't glitch. I'm actually going to download this for my Series X anyway. I'm going to play that on that Series X, but because this is a play anywhere title, so I hope they do, you can actually play where you left off. So I play on my console when I'm at home, and when I'm away I play on my MSI claw. Just to confirm that the filming that when using my phone, my Oppo Ultra, it does look bluer. It's actually pretty grey, if anybody remembers the game. You know, I kind of missed the old game, you know, that kind of tone to it. I know that the 360, I remember that 360 game, it was so good. The graphics were just ahead of its time at the time. And watching it, I mean, they sharpen the graphics, but sometimes sharpen graphics doesn't mean it's good. When you look at the grass, if anything, this is probably on the graphics of an Xbox One X, probably around somewhere between Xbox One and the Series S. But I did like the old graphic style, really nitty gritty, dark, and you know, he actually gave some of the facial features of more personality. They look a bit more tougher. You know, I mean, these men have been battle ridden, been in war. They should be a little more grifter, more, you know. But the new one, the faces, they have made it more smoother. Anyway, enough talking. Let's pause this and go to another game. Okay, so now I'm playing Forza Horizon. So you can see here, it's on all medium settings. If you watched my last video, I think this is probably the best setting. Okay then, now let's see. Oh, getting crashed. At the moment I'm averaging mid-40s in the frames. Forza is one of those games where he actually runs on a lot of things and he actually looks decent. So yeah, I'm averaging mid-40s, 46. If you look closely at the foliage, you can see I had to reduce some of the graphics just to get decent setting. I have put this on performance mode. Also, in one of my comments of the video when I did some playtests, someone I kind of forgot to do this, but he or she wrote in the comments that go into the BIOS and change the scene or scenario to performance. Of course, that will definitely drain your battery. So you can see that I'm running mid 40 frames per second. The car maintains a pretty decent details, but when I go into the folder, you can see, especially when you close up, let me slow down, you can see that the bushes kind of reminds me of the Xbox One days. But of course, it's actually not bad if you dock it. Okay then, that's that. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I'm back with Borderlands 3. So the setting I put on is 1920 by 1080, of course. Resolution I reduced to 75%. Limited frame rate is unlimited. So that was a setting I had, which I found was the best. Okay, let's get started. I'm playing Zane. Of course, you can straight away see, I don't know if you can see it from this footage, but I can see the jagged areas and jagged lines from the outlines. Of course, you won't notice much difference on the actual 7-inch screen, but on the 55-inch 4K is a lot more noticeable. You can change it up to, of course, to 1080p, but of course you definitely lose frame rate. Instantly, it takes a bit of time to load in. So I'm at the moment getting mid 50s frames per second. So I've dropped down to mid 40s. It's actually pretty smooth, I thought. So staying steady between mid 40s to mid 50s frame per second. Let's get into more enemies, see what it's doing. So far he hasn't dropped down past mid 40s. So staying between mid 40s to 50s when there's a lot of things happening. Okay, it's gone back up to mid 50s, late 50s. So that's not bad. So hasn't. Okay, we'll do. Let's change this. And put it up to resolutions 100%. And let's see how. Okay, straight off the bat, I'm getting 37, 38 frames per second. You know what? Once you start playing games in at least 1440p or 4K, it's kind of hard to go back to even 1080. You know. I mean, you can see it's definitely sharper, but really not much different. But you can see it's much more jittery. So we know what. Okay, let's change it back to reduce it to 75% again. Yeah, I mean, you can see it's not as sharp as the 1080, but it's good enough. It wasn't that much difference. Not like from 4K down to 1080 kind of that drastic, but I think that having a steady mid 40s to 50, sometimes even 60 frames per second is a lot better. just get all these weapons. That's not bad. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, let me just quit this game and play another game. So I'm back with Dead Space Remake Game Pass. When you get Game Pass Ultimate, you get EA Play with it, part of the bundle. So I have nearly 3 years left. That's the reason why I said earlier I'm playing using the Windows OS instead of Steam OS. Not that this machine can do Steam OS. So let me just show you the settings I've got. So I've got on full screen, 1920 by 1880, 60 frames or 60 hertz. So that's about. Then it goes into, you can see the motion blur 45%. Dynamic scaling is off. I've got AMD, but this is an Intel chip. So I've got balance. I've got medium for graphics quality. Everything else is kind of set medium. Okay, so let's get back into the game. Looks decent, but just look at Isaac's suit. You can see it's kind of blended in, and in the shadows, kind of, you see the shadows there on the back. It kind of, yeah, it doesn't look that good. I would say if this was run, if the remake was actually made for Xbox One, I would say this is probably the graphics style. This is actually one of my favorite games of the, because I remember I got this for the PS3 of that era. Heavily influenced by Resident Evil 4. You can see that. Just so you can see how it kind of slows down a little bit. Kind of almost reminds me of good old-fashioned Resident Evil games, where you open a door, it pauses for a few seconds. So this seems to be an ideal setting. I mean, this game is designed to be pretty slow-paced. So you can probably get away with having maybe 30 frames. You can see, look at some of the objects, kind of blurred. So I would say, judging by things, this is probably running about 30 frames per second. Maybe mid-40s kind of thing on average. Oops. I mean, you can look at that, these bits so you can see it's flickering. It does that a lot. Maybe it just needs a patch. What let me just go into settings and see if I lower the resolution down, see if that flickering goes off. So I put too low. Yep, it does go down. It does feel a bit smoother. I actually think low resolution actually works better on the aesthetic style because it looks more grim and Isaac's suit looks like being worn out kind of thing. So it's not bad, but it actually looks pretty good on the actual device itself. Let me show you what it looks like in the device. Give me a sec. Okay, so this is the device itself. You can see it's actually running pretty good. Oh, you can see my reflection. It's actually pretty good. Because it's a smaller screen, you will definitely it helps cover up all the kind of blurriness, you know, the anti-alias or non-anti-alias, or the jagged areas. The lighting seems better, and also it's the screen. I put it on 50% brightness. It kind of lends a lot more to the atmosphere of the game. So yeah, so what do you think? Overall, it's not bad, I would say. Definitely worth thinking about. I mean, you see some of the settings I put on as a docking station or a console S desktop. I would say they're getting graphics somewhere between, depending on the game and if the developers do any patches. I'm saying this is Xbox One, you know, and maybe even Xbox Series S level in certain things. Of course, so that's about it for playing the MSI Claw. So yeah, this is the dock I got, wherever how you ever pronounce it. So this one goes on top of your device. The back here you got Ethernet, you got USB. There's a charging. There you go, and you got or USB A. You got the charge. No, sorry, that's the data. It's got two USB Cs. This is for charging up to 100 watts. HDMI cable, 120 hertz, of course, right there. So this is a universal dock. So it looks like if you dock it, and then this will go here, connected that, plug your charger in, and you have a docking station. There you go. Anyway, what do you think? Let me know. Please like and subscribe, all that cool stuff. And until next time, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're on board. Please do stay safe. Goodbye now.